How's it going? Welcome back. I just made this bench for a customer and I need to make a coffee table to go with it. He asked for a love seat and a coffee table. I made the love seat yesterday, or bench, or whatever you want to call it. Now I'm going to make a coffee table. So stick around. Hope you like it. First of all, I'm completely winging this. I have some ideas. I looked at some pictures and I thought, I like that, and I know what kind of surface I want to have. What I needed to figure out was the leg configuration, and I'm going to use it's outdoors, so I want it to all be treated. All the rest of this furniture is treated pine, that is, and I want to use 4x4s as the legs. It's going to be a rectangular table, but I don't want a beefy 4x4 leg. I want to make this down to 2 inches. So I'm going to rip these down, and then I'm going to take them onto the planer and get some nice smooth edges on it. And just so it's not so beefy, that's too beefy. But my thought here is to have a 2-inch leg with something like 1 inch thick and maybe 2.5 to 3, maybe 2.5 or so tall rails on here. And then some sort of stretcher combination to keep the legs connected to each other. And then I'll make a separate tabletop that sits on top of that. So I'm going to start with ripping these down and so I have my legs down to 2 1/8, and instead of the thickness planer, I'm going to run them across the joiner. This is all old wood I had. I'm not buying anything, and that's okay because it's going to be very presentable. Part of it is what I just cut on the table saw, which some edges are pretty nice and some have a little bit of a mark. So I'm going to take that mark off. And then the existing edges are just a little weathered, a little exposed. So I'm going to clean those up, just little passes like that. So I'm going to do this on all 4 legs, get nice, clean, fresh edges, and then after I get those cut, I'm going to put a 1/4 inch round over on all 4 edges and verify that they're all cut to length. So let's proceed. Now with my stop block in position, I'm going to trim, I'm going to clean up one edge and then move this like a 30-second, clean up the other edge, just so that they're all perfect. Now I have a 3/16 round over bit that I'm going to apply to all the long edges and also the 4 edges of the feet. That'll keep the wood from chipping out. And that means I need to determine what's the top and what's the bottom. So if there's a better side, that'll probably be the bottom. I'll choose that side. That'd be nice. And then when I put it in position, there's a little funny spot. I'll put that to the inside, and it's going to be a nice looking leg. So now, before I go too far, with the leg configuration, before I determine the width and the length, I need to make the table top. These are some deck boards I had laying around. I've got a lot of material laying around. So I'm going to cut these down to 47 or so inches. And then we're going to have breadboards or something that resembles breadboards on the ends. So now I have a 1/4 inch round over there, and I've already looked at everything, and I have the better face on all of these, at least in my opinion. The point here is to put that 1/4 inch radius on the tops of everything and the bottom of the outside edge. So let's do that. Okay, I got a design change on the fly. I was talking about doing this, wasn't I? I didn't like the idea of the breadboard. I was even hesitant to call it a breadboard because my idea was to domino it in, but with so many of these, what are there, eight boards that are going to get wet, they're going to swell up considerably in this direction, and I don't like that. That's going to ruin whatever's on the end like that, especially because it's outdoors. It is going to get wet. It is going to, even if it's painted or something, even if it's in a garage, it's going to get humid. It's an extremely humid climate we're in. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to cut these down to 18 and 5/8, and I'm going to put I'm going to put all of them like this, going this way, and there's going to be a little space between them. I've done this before with a full picture frame around. Picture frame kind of has its moments. I want to try it, even though there's some exposed edge here. It will allow all of these to expand and contract because they're not moving this way, or if they are, it's going to be minimal. And it will allow this one to expand and contract. And I can completely glue and completely tight fit dominoes. And I'm talking like maybe a 3/8 of an inch gap, something like that, all the way down. And it'll be outdoors. If it does get wet, the water will flow through instead of puddle on top. You can still put your drinks and your plates on it. It's a coffee table. You could, whatever they're putting on it. I think that's the way we're going to do it. And instead of, we're going to have like a hole every 3 inches, roughly. That's going to be what it is. It might change the length of this a touch, but that's okay. So I'm going to start cutting. I determined that these will be my outside pieces, even though that has a knot on it. It's ugly as hell. I'm okay. Knot gives it character. I'm going to cut these all down to 18 and 5/8. And if I need more, I'll cut more. I have plenty more. So let's go back to the miter saw. So I've got my Domino DF500 set up. I've got this, I always forget what you call this thing, but it allows the wood to fit perfectly centered once you dial it in. It's actually a hair loose, but I'm not going to worry about it. I got my depth set. I replaced this with one I got from Etsy, so it's Imperial. I got my material thickness set at 1 inch because this is 1 inch. I've got my depth of cut at 25 because I'm using an 8x50 Domino, and I've got my 8mm cutter head in there, all connected, tight setting. And for now, I'm just going to do the ends of all the short ones. So I got this started. I've got the Domino opening centered on this one. I laid this one out to be flush on the end, and this is 2 5/8. So from this end, I can go 1 5/16, right? Yes, to my mark. From that mark, I'm going 3 inches all the way. It's as simple as that. And then when I get to the very end, that last mark is 1 5/16 from that end, and that will be perfect. And then this one will be centered on this mark, and there will be a space of about 3/8 of an inch. So that's what we're doing. I've got this board laid out. I put some tape on it so I don't have to erase or sand all these marks off. And what I'm going to do is line them up together and get my little speed square. Here's my little speed square. So I already have marks on one side. I'm just going to transfer nice and neatly and in line to the other side. Okay, so, and I don't need this doohickey anymore, so that can slide off, and the rest of it will remain the same. I'll line up my center mark on the pencil mark. I'll ensure that the plate is flat against the work surface, and I'm going to plunge. So I got my rails cut. These are the short side, these are the long side, and I put a domino, plowed a domino mortise into the ends of them in the center like I have been doing. And what these are going to do is go into the leg like this. But I want it to be offset a little bit. Whether this is rounded or not, it is rounded, and I want to offset the corner. I think it looks a little better like that. So what I've done is I've adjusted the depth to 1.5 inches, which is going to drop this. This was dropping a 1/2 inch to the center. Now it's going to drop 3/4 of an inch to the center of the mortise. And essentially, I did my little test piece right here. drop it. Here's a 1/2 inch, here's the 3/4. So when I line that up kind of in the center like that, it's going to give the edge of this is going to be right at the rollover of the corner. And so I looked at all 4 legs. I got 2 of them cut. And I looked at what's the best 2 sides that are together. And so I figured these 2 sides. That means I need a mortise in here and a mortise in here. So I put some little lines, little indicators on the top so I don't lose track. That is the top, that is the bottom. And I've already plunged here. We're going to put this here, and then this is eventually going to go here with the flat side up. It will be flush. There's another little caveat there. When I had this set up to center that cut in the middle here, I could see that the edge of the bracket is at the 30 mil mark on the plate. So when I plunge this one, when I line it up here, I have to line, I don't have a center mark, but I'm lining up 30 mils at the edge of the board, if that makes any sense. Here, the edge is at the center, and then scooch it over till the end of the board is at the 30 mil mark, and then I plunge it. So that's what I'm doing now. And just to keep it secure, I have this clamp here. And here's my little indicator, so I know I'm going in here 30 mil from this edge. Just like that. 8 by 50, I believe it is. Yes, 8 by 50 domino. So now I've got the other side to do. And I didn't leave myself room for the machine. Kind of like that. It is. There we go. Nice. I just need to get 4 clamps on it. I wanted a centerpiece also, and it might be too late for dominoes on that. I could put screws. Anyway. Okay. Here's a couple of mistakes I made as I was winging it off the cuff, just shooting from the hip without thinking completely. 2 mistakes, however, I think we're going to get away with them completely. I wanted another stretcher in the middle for the apron, and I should have had this all done before. I don't want to try to force this out and compromise a joint that I just glued up. So I've got my tenons installed already here. And what I did here is I plunge one in the center, and then I plunge a wide one to waller it out. And what I'm going to do is like drop it over the top and slide it down and then clamp it into place. and it'll completely be covered up and no one will know. If anybody lays on the ground and looks up at it or turns it over to paint it or whatever, they're not going to see this, they're going to see the other thing. The other thing is, here's my my full stretcher assembly for underneath. And same thing, same exact thing. I should have had better forethought. I will next time. But I want this to go where these tenons are, and same application. We're going to come in from this, it's upside down obviously. We're going to come in from the top and bring it up like so. It might be a bit of a finagling to get it in there, but we're going to glue it up and bring it in something like that, and it'll go together. I know it will. I don't want to start pushing and pulling until the glue's on. So anyway, and then I'll be happy, and when it's all said and done, it'll be a little something. If they want to, again, it's outdoors, so they're not going to put magazines or something, but you never know. They could put firewood or boxes of something. You never know. Whether they use it for storage or not, it's going to be a great tool to hold the legs together, hold the legs from being compromised, being pushed in the wrong direction. So let's glue it up, shall we? There's a bunch of glue. I think I could put a little bit on this tenon and this one. Okay. I like that mechanism for holding it in place. I'll just put some glue on just to make sure we don't have a dry. Okay. Now this is going to be slippery. Go like there. Do like that. Do like this. Do like that. And do like that. Look at that. That ain't bad at all. That ain't bad at all. Okay, here we go. Here's the lower assembly completed. Glue is good enough. I'm happy with all of it. And you can see here I've got some pocket hole screws. Got 2 here, 2 here, and 2 over here. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip that over because the top is upside down right now. And I am very worried about pocket hole screws. My original design or thought process was something with breadboards or something like that. But then I realized with all the expansion and contraction, that's going to fall apart at some point. Maybe not this year, but probably next year. And with the pocket hole screws, hear me out. This board is being screwed into this board, and that's it. This board is being screwed into this board. So whatever this board does, I think it's going to be okay. And that's it. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be rock solid. I've got 1.5 inch screws and 1 down. There you go. So it's got some weight to it. I bet it weighs 30 pounds. Can I do like this? it's going to go, what we're going to do is put it next to the love seat, the bench over there. And that's where it's going to be the companion piece. I didn't make a video on that, but I have a lot of videos on furniture, and you should check them out. You should also subscribe. If you do anything, if you've made it this long in this video, subscribe. I mean, do it. I mean, come on. So that's it. It's very weather proof, weather resistant. The material will withstand weather. The openings will allow rain to come through. There's a domino at each connection there with glue, plenty of glue with that. It's going to hold up very well. I do have to do some sanding, and then I'm done. Thanks again.